we're back in the village of Portals Nous today. Anita's got her knitting club, so she's going to go off to knitting, and I'm going to go for a walk down to the port. But just while we're here, just noticing a little bit of progress has been made on the Flintstones that was many years ago across the road, and it's now advertised as Frankie's Gourmet Street Food, coming soon. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Down the road, just from here, Casa Paco, which closed, is still under construction, and we'll wait to see what happens there. So Anita's going off to the ship, just down this way, and I'm going to carry on down the road. I'm going to go down to the port and have a look to see what it's like down there. We've not actually been down to the port for a while, so it'd be nice to do a little bit of an update. It's July 21st, is it today?
It is the 21st, yes.
Right, just checking with my administrator to the right here. Yeah, July the 21st, 2021. And it's a hot day and getting hotter. It's still only 10:30 in the morning. We've had a busy morning so far. We've already been to Santa Ponsa and Palma Nova to carry out some chores, and now Anita's going to meet her friends here in the ship. This is her Wednesday morning gathering. The knitting ladies, looks as though she may be first. Have fun.
Bye. See you later. Bye.
So I'm just noticing across the road that nothing has happened to Dulce's. Restaurants are all open here, but don't forget it is 10:30 in the morning, so don't expect to see people sitting at the tables. Hotel Marina Portals just coming up in front of us. It's been open for quite a while now. Nice hotel. When we first came here, it was actually an apartment block, and they converted it into a hotel. So this side was actually all open, and you just got the walkways to each of the apartments. Those apartments were converted into hotel rooms. Actually, is a very nice hotel now. Some of our friends stay there quite regularly. A few little shops and things across there. Just going to walk down this walkway. Hopefully there's a bit of shade, it looks like it. So we can get out to the sun. Where we used to buy the wood from. We used to do projects at home during the summer when we lived in Portals Nous. Used to buy some wood and do some construction work. You can see lots of nice shades, so this should be not too bad. But the temperatures today are likely to get up to the mid-30s, and as we get towards the weekend, it could get even higher than that. It's a little bit uncomfortable. A few weeks ago there was a man killed on this bit of a walkway coming down here on one of these controversial e-scooters. He must have been doing a fair lick, and I don't know whether he hit something, whether he came off it, and sadly passed away. Just on this side, it's quite a drop down to what would be a torrente, I suppose, coming from the mountains. I've never ever seen any water in there though, so just while we're walking down just to fill you in the news. I have put a news update yesterday, which has been watched by about 4,000 people by yesterday evening, just to update you on the new restrictions, some of which come into force today, and the rest which will come into force over the weekend. So from today, restaurants are going to be limited to tables of 8 on the terraces. It was 12 before, so now it's going down to 8, and inside it's going down to 4. So someone said, well, we're a family of 5, what happens? Well, sit on a terrace. But yeah, the rule is it's a table of 4. We had a situation a few weeks ago when it was a similar rule, and the restaurant wanted us, we've got 3 adults and 2 children, wanted us to take 2 tables. One of the children was only 2 years old, and in the end common sense prevailed and we all sat on one table. But the restaurants are nervous because if they break the rules, they could be closed down or they could be fined, and the last thing any of the restaurants want at the moment is to be fined, short of money as it is. So anyway, common sense did prevail, and I'm sure that would be the case if you've got young children with you. But other than that, you can always have 2 tables next to each other. So last night I was out with the 41 Club as a guest, and we had 2 tables of 6. So that's still allowed, or was allowed last night. But as of tonight, it's gone down to 4 inside. And the bars and the restaurants, all of those sorts of things, anything where people gather together has to close now at 1 a.m. was 2 a.m. And that didn't seem to be too harsh to me. I read in the paper that an hour in the summer is equivalent to 8 hours in the winter for bar trade. So that's what the bar owners are saying, that 1 hour difference between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. is equivalent to 8 hours of trade during the winter time. That seems an awful lot. I guess they don't do a lot of business in the winter, and quite a lot will just simply close in the winter. They don't open. So yes, I suppose on average it does work out. Some of the other rules that are going to be modified don't really affect the tourists too much. To do with sporting events and weddings, funerals, I guess. And it's just really the number of people that can attend these and percentage of the place that can be open again. The big news really was about masks, because it had been discussed in the newspapers that masks were about to be brought back, and I'm still reading on Facebook people saying masks are coming back by Monday. Well, they're not, at least not at the moment they're not. The masks are recommended, so they want you to wear the masks, but like this, where easy to maintain a safe distance, you don't have to wear a mask. If you get into crowded areas, my example in the news bulletin was if you were sitting at a bus stop or standing at a bus stop and there's a lot of people waiting to get on the bus, then you're expected to wear a mask. You go inside, you go into a shop, you go into a restaurant, you go into a bar, as you're going in, you wear the mask. So those of you coming on holiday here, you need to bring a supply of masks. They are available here obviously, but you'll need one for your aeroplane anyway, and they seem to get lost, so I see them in the streets quite often. So for me anyway, it's kind of a relief with these temperatures getting so high that we don't actually have to wear the mask in this situation. And going into a shop or an office isn't too bad. They're usually air conditioned, so it's a lot cooler. But the temperatures here are hitting the high 30s, and that's going to be very, very uncomfortable. In fact, some places in the middle of the island are predicted to get up to 40 degrees, and that will be very uncomfortable. So we're just heading down, we're going to Puerto Portals. Before we get to Puerto Portals, the roundabout here is in Costa de Blanes. There's a block across the road which has got some shops. Just beyond there is Nice Price, which is an English shop, sells produce that they import from the UK. With Brexit they've had a few issues, but still seem to have good stock, and they seem to be able to work around those issues. And there's a hotel there that is open. It's one of the closest ones to the port. And on the hillside is Costa de Blanes. It's really big, exclusive sort of houses. It's a very nice housing estate with amazing views, very big houses, very expensive houses, overlooking Puerto Portals. And all of this area was at one time owned by the Blanes family. Come to the roundabout. I usually do this on foot. And coming on to the left here, we've got Delfinos, and we really like coming here, particularly for Sunday lunch. We'll come. We have all the roasts, sometimes come for fish and chips as well. A whole selection of different food. Delfinos, that's one of our regular haunts. Just across the road there's a big car park. And that leads down to Marineland. This is a municipal car park, and it says it's free, but I thought there were blue lines. Maybe some of it's free and some of it isn't free. I'm still heading down towards Puerto Portals. Few people out there having their breakfast. And these apartment blocks might not look so nice from the back, but from the front they've got perfect views over the port. And I have friends who've lived in all three of these blocks actually here, and on both sides of the road. On the wrong side, because it's hot on this side. There's an interesting barrier to nowhere. Didn't notice that before. You don't notice things a little bit differently when you're on foot. Front is the Damar block, which has got scaffolding on this side. I've been doing a lot of work over that over the last year or so. So the other side is looking really swish, and they're actually working on this side now. And we're now at the top of the entrance to Puerto Portals. Those of you who've been watching videos for a while know that when we first came to live here, this port did not exist. So when we first came here, none of this at all was here. Those apartments where you may have been there, these apartments on this side, certainly not. And everything that you're going to see in front was not here, didn't exist. So we moved to Puerto Portals, or we moved to Portals village in, I think, 1987. Yes, Yacht Engineering Solutions. I used to work for them. Good friend of mine, Mike is the owner of Yacht Engineering Solutions. So if you've got one of these mega yachts, he's the man who will fix it for you, sort out while you're doing that. As we enter the port, one of the original bars, restaurants, wellies is just on the left. Founded by Jeff Kenyon. Again, someone we've known since before this port was built, so he actually came to me and we discussed the menu when he was setting up wellies. For any of you who've got really long memories, Jeffrey Kenyon was actually in Z Cars, cop series from the 60s. Just on the right hand side as I'm walking past is Flanagan's. Nice place to go for your breakfast. In the past I've seen many people in there, including the previous King of Spain, Juan Carlos. So all these little stalls you can see here, they now have a sunset market, which we haven't been to yet. So maybe that's something we need to investigate. Come and have a look to see what's going on here in the evenings. But the reason for me to come down here is to look at these boats. I did put a video up recently that I filmed from the church above Portals Nous beach of some of the boats out at sea. Here you can actually get them really close up. Before I do that, I'm just actually going to walk across the road past the beer lorry, and we're just going to have a look outside the port. Just check I don't get run over at this point. Oops. Just from here you can see that there is a beach. Just a small sandy beach here, and you have the Portals Nous boat experience. I've not seen that before, but there you go, a little boat there which will, I guess, take you around here. But lots of smaller craft anchored here, and just beyond the beach is marine land, and beyond that there's another beach which is referred to as the Costa Temblanes beach, and beyond that there's a tennis club and sports and then you go further around the headland towards Son Caliu and Palma Nova. But I'm going to go this way. I'm going to have a look to see what the boats are looking like. So here it's just great to come spotting the different boats. All of these are still in the port. So where they're actually from, Valletta. These boats are big and very expensive. Expensive to buy, expensive to run, expensive just to leave here for a whole winter, or for some cases they've been here for 2 winters and the owners are only just coming out, if they are at all. Just very, very expensive toys. Another one, Valletta. This one from London. So when you saw the van from Yacht Engineering Solutions, I worked for them. I used to come onto these boats and used to do jobs on them. One of my responsibilities was gas rams. Gas ram is the thing that you have on the hatchback of your car. It lifts up and lifts up easier. But on these boats they've got heavy doors to lift up, so they're really powerful things. And we used to supply and fit new ones, and we could in fact recharge some of the ones that just needed some more nitrogen pumping into them. Quite a dangerous job because you've got to get the pressures just right. Everything is done at really high pressure with a nitrogen cylinder. It was interesting. So usually as you get towards the end, you find the yachts get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then when you get to the very end you get the really big ones, and today is no exception. So pretty big here, but look at this one in front, or this one in front, Calistro. It's huge, and the people who work on these are constantly cleaning them. This has got a British flag. That is one hell of a boat. And across the water, one that looks a little bit smaller, is the Kalahani. You can look these up on the internet and find out exactly who owns them, or how much they cost to rent. These boats are usually rented out as well, and people will be paying tens or hundreds of thousands of euros to rent them. This is the filling station. This is where they come to fill up with petrol or diesel, whichever fuel they're using, before they go out. That is one amazing yacht. A very interesting looking crest at the top there. It just says MI Motor Yacht Callisto. Look it up, you want to know what that one is. This Hummer is a tender. quo vadis. It's a vehicle which goes with the boat. So some of these boats here will have permanent crew, and they work all the way around and look after the boat in the winter when the owners are not here. And then there's a whole team of other people, like Spectrum Marine coming up in front of us, who will be supplying different essentials. To you. So there's a whole industry which services these boats. So that's Callisto 2. I'm guessing they're related. And so huge industry. Throughout the island, obviously, there's lots and lots of ports here in Mallorca, so there's a huge industry which is just to keep these boats floating and sailing on the Mediterranean. And you'd be amazed at the number of different jobs that have to be done on these things constantly. And because it's for a mega yacht, it has a mega price to go with it. One of the jobs I used to do was to run a CNC machine. This was a computer cutting machine, and one of the owners had some beautiful teak holders for tissues, and the tissue box that they used changed size, so the teak holders, beautiful polished teak holders, no longer would fit these new paper tissues boxes. So the owner said, I want some new ones, one for each cabin and one for wherever. So there was a whole lot of them going to be made, and I was charged with making them out of white perspex. And that's what they wanted, so I made them out of white perspex. And yes, they looked like nice, but I much preferred the teak. It's strange how people think about these things. Anyway, I made the teak tissue box holders, which cost the owner because they were bespoke. So they had to be designed, they had to be made, and the thing which probably took the longest of all was polishing so that they looked absolutely perfect. And I can't remember the exact figure, but it's something like €100 each for these boxes, to put boxes in. Back to Wellies now. Nobody in Wellies yet. Get busy later on. I was telling you about Jeffrey Kenyon, founder of Wellies and the owner for many years. He sadly passed away. Just going to walk up one of the quays. I don't think I'm going to be walking up all of the quays today, but I'll walk up this one. It's got many of the larger boats. It's always interesting to have a look, see where the flags are. So some British, some German here. And Spanish, of course. And many of them will actually be for sale. So here's one, sold by Baxter Marine. Commercial Nautic. Many of these vans I recognise because we used to make shirts for them when I had my embroidery business many years ago. It's good to see that the businesses are still around. It's a nice Bentley. More cleaning. It is a constant job when you've got one of these yachts. You're obviously going to get salt spray just by being on the sea, and that salt spray leaves marks and streaks, and if you're down in one of the cabins below, staterooms below, you don't want to be looking through a streaky window in your multi-million euro boat. There's actually a big space here, which is where there was always one moored called Leander, which Princess Margaret in her day used to visit, obviously a long time ago. This is a Riva 110. Again from Valletta. Nearly at the end here. New waves from London, and the last one is another one from Valletta. Oh no, not the last one. There is one that's Georgetown. The sea wall is actually an interesting walk. It is very exposed. There are some people who are actually doing the walk, but I think if I was doing that today I'd need to have Anita's parasol. But it is, in the past I've actually gone all the way to the end, and where the green marker is there for the entrance of the port, and I would sit there and just watch the boats go by. Another good place for spotting the boats. Temperature's still creeping up, and right in front of us, that's looking up towards Costa de Blanes. Looking up on the hill, you probably can't see it in the video, but there is a lookout point right at the top. Some antennas for radio and communications, mobile phones, but there's a lookout post right on the top, and they have put there to look out for fires so that they can be spotted early on. So I'm imagining somebody manned up there now, because we're in the season when fires are prevalent, and so someone will be up there looking to see if there's any sign of smoke, and if there is, they will warn the authorities, and they come over with either a helicopter or an aeroplane or both, depending on how serious it is. And we've already had one or two fires, mostly I believe in the Andrach area, so right down in the southwest. But in the past we have seen them here, and actually close to Costa de Blanes. Big chunks of the forest there got very close to some of the properties. I don't think any of them were damaged, but that's in the past. So as you walk from the captaineria, the captain of the port, away, so we're actually moving eastwards, I suppose, the boats get smaller. So the biggest boats are nearest to the captaineria, and we're on the next quay along, so boats here tend to be a little bit smaller, and as we go further and further, the boats will get smaller and smaller. It doesn't matter how small they are, they're still very expensive. To go with all of the boats, they're very expensive. There's a whole lot of shops, which are very expensive. But in the past, I guess even now, Puerto Portals is one of the places to be seen. And if you've got a big boat, it's one of the places you need to show it off. Across the road there, you get your very exclusive clothes, jewellery, anything really. In front of us we have Ritzy, not a place that I've been. So here's the next of the quays. So the boats along here are all a little bit smaller than the previous quay. But again, I'm not going to walk down there. It's too hot. Now along here, I'm going to walk by the sea. And you can see there's all these bollards here, both on my left, where there's lots, and occasionally one on the right. And this is where I normally bang into one. I've got Anita here to protect me. And looking down, I can actually see some fish in the water. I usually see lots of fish here, big and small, and there's more places along here to eat and drink. Not all of them are expensive, so I'm being a little bit unfair. Some of them offer great value, and they are places that we do go to now and again. So here's Diablito, just opposite this quay. Have in the past actually been asked to walk up and down the quays by people who've been watching the videos, saying, could you just go and have a little walk down there and see if my boat's okay. So sorry, I'm not going down them today. You can see there, look, there's a lot of empty moorings because people are here now, and if you're here and you've got a boat, then the whole point of it is to get out and enjoy it. Wang shop, restaurant. Do imagine these are a lot of fun. Just going past Spoon, and as you imagine, a place like this, there's lots of yacht brokers and also estate agents as well. So at the beginning of the year, someone asked me to come down and said have a look at the new block, and I hadn't actually noticed the new block at that time, or the building work that had gone with it, and so I didn't really know what they were talking about. And I tried to film it from the church, and I looked down and I said I can't really see anything, and that's because it was hidden, and there it is. It's all finished now and is looking really smart, and it looks as though some of the locales there are being filled up. Oh, some of them are actually filled out. So just a quick look down this side. I get boat owners and they say, oh, you walked past that quay and you didn't film it, that's where my boat is. Sorry. And I don't go along the far wall where there's a lot of other small boats. Just too hot at the moment. And then you've got some hard standing here where a number of boats are actually out of the water. But you can see right in front, a lot of these are now actually being used. It really is quite exciting how quickly they did this. When I was videoing it, people were saying, oh, that's never going to be ready, never going to get that done. They've done a great job, and what amazes me is there's actually a car park underneath here, and we're almost at water level, but down below, and this is the entrance to down below. There is a car park. We've actually been down to the car park. It's down there. Water features here, which it's not ready yet, but it's nearly ready. Clothes shop there fitting itself out. Not sure they're open. A lot of people actually inside. Maybe they're still working on it. And there's a fountain feature here, and more shops on the opposite side. Fountain features are great in these temperatures. They cool the air. But we were in Magaluf a few days ago, and the police were telling the man who was operating to switch it off because I don't know, I guess it's something to do with COVID restrictions and water droplets in the air, but the fountain feature that had been on was switched off. And I've seen other fountains on, so I'm going to head into the middle of here. I won't go up there because there's a lot of tables out. This is a sort of place that gets very busy in the evening, so quiet in the day, which is good for me to walk around. I don't have to wear my mask, and I can get about quite easily. And in the evening it gets very busy. Lots of people around here, and all of these tables will be booked up. And this is where they have the street market as well. So at other times of the year they'll have street markets in here. For Christmas, for example, or Easter. We do have a little water feature that's actually working, so it's good. It's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Well, this may be the last video I do in Puerto Portals. I've just been told by the security guard that videoing is not permitted in Puerto Portals, so I might have to investigate that, but hope you've enjoyed this one. It could be the last one from Puerto Portals, but we'll wait and see. I'll visit the Captainria and see what they say about making videos down there. So I hope you found it interesting. If you have, please subscribe and hit that bell so that you get a notification, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, wherever that's going to be from. And now I'm going to seek some shade because it's really, really hot. Bye for now.